I'm Justin, and I went to Indonesia.
I'm Kim, and I went to Vanuatu.
I'm Mena, I went to Indigenous Australia.
My name is Hannah, and I went to West Papua.
My name's Mike, and I went to Thailand.
We met this little boy named David, and he just kind of fell in love with us, and he melted our hearts, because every morning we'd come, and he'd come and sit in class, and he'd be in his uniform, and it was such a prized uniform that they'd run home, and they'd take off the uniform and change back into their regular clothes. And he was about 5 years old, and he was just learning English, and that's what we were there for. We were there to teach them English, to give them, some sort of opportunity, let them know that we cared about them. He wanted to show off his skills, and so we were teaching him names, and he would point to members of the team, and then he'd point to himself, so he'd point to one of the guys on the team, he'd go, Gabe, David, point at me, Justin, David. As we left, I realized that, he's only 5 years old, and sure, it's only one life, and there's so many things happening in terms of poverty and that sort of thing that we want to fix it all, but here was one life that we could make a difference, and here was one person that we could help, and who knows, that maybe at only 5 years old, we were able to impact him for a lifetime.
Another lady came into one of our clinics, and she actually collapsed at my feet, and we found out that she had malaria, the worst kind of malaria, the kind that gives you brain damage. But thankfully, we were able to treat her. She was homeless as well. Her and her 2 kids were able to find into temporary housing for a while, and she was able to be back on her feet in a few days just because of a simple drug that we were able to give her that we could afford, but she had no chance of affording.
While we were there, we met this woman named Bam. And Bam is a woman working in prostitution. Through the course of conversation, Bam just expresses that, and recently, only in a matter of days, that her son had actually just died. For just a slight moment, Bam just sort of begins to show just a bit of emotion, and her eyes begin to sort of fill with tears, and you can see this immense sorrow. But it only took an instant before suddenly the smile returned and the tears were dried, and Bam quickly changed the subject. Again, they say Thailand, it's the land of smiles. And it is. On the surface, you see all this happiness and all of these smiles, but deep down, we glimpsed that Bam is a broken-hearted woman. I don't know exactly what impact we may have had on her that day, but I know that it only takes a little bit to bring some kind of expression of love, some kind of hope into someone's life, and I hope and pray that we are able to be that for Bam that day. And to think that only an ocean away or only a few kilometers away, that injustice is taking place. The most confronting part is now that you've heard, now that you know, you've got some type of responsibility to do something, to act.
They need someone to speak out for them because nobody is.
You probably won't change everything that's happening in the city, but you're making a difference.
Well, all you have to be is somebody who's willing just to go and love on people.
You understand them and get in amongst them and just to serve them as they are, as the people uniquely made.
So we just need people to speak up and say, you know what, I will take a stand for this nation. I'll be willing to share what's going on.
We're not expected to do it all on ourselves, but as we join with friends and organizations and people that are doing something around us, we are a part of the collective whole that makes a difference.
And I want to say, whatever you do, no matter how big or how small, as long as you do something, you will make a difference. So why don't you act? Why don't you make a difference?
Poverty needs a voice.
The sex trade needs a voice.
Slavery needs a voice.
Poor healthcare needs a voice.
Abuse needs a voice.